According to Maharishi Yasaka, Agni is praised in his three forms in the Vedas: Uttama or Avaniya Agni, the heavenly Agni which appears as Surya or the sun; Madhyama or Dakshina Agni, the intermediate one, atmospheric Agni, appears as lightning or thunderbolt; Parthiva, the one situated on this earth. This is again divided as Vedic Agni. This fire is kindled for Vedic rituals or sacrificial fire. Grahapatya Agni, the earthly Agni, appears at worship for cooking and digests the food inside the body of living beings. Agni is perceived as one of the Pancha Mahabhuta. In brief, it's one of the five elements, along with other four elements of Akash, Vayu, Apaha, and Prithvi. This Agni element is responsible for transformation and is perceived as heat in form of fire. Agni element is described as Ushna, Ruksha, Tikshna, Vishad, and Sukshma. All Mahabhutas are derived from the previous one and carry their properties. Understanding Agni's properties, in sequence it is formed after Akash Vayu and before Apaha and Prithvi. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I, with the help of prana and apana, digest the four kinds of food, that is bhaksha, bhojya, leha, and chusha. Of all the various types of Agnis described through various treatises on Ayurveda, this Agni described in Bhagavad Gita is considered the prime and center of all other Agnis. It is known as Vaishavanar Agni. Maharishi Atreya called it Akash Agni. Shushruta calls it Sadak Agni or Sadak Pitta. Charak calls it Kaya Agni, where Kaya means body. Chakrapani Datta depicts that the treatment of the human body of Kaya is nothing but the treatment of this Kaya Agni. We come across a definitive reference of Agni in Ayurveda text as Rupantarena Agni, which depicts that Agni is perceived through transformation. In human body, Agni transforms outside elements in a form recognizable and accepted by the body, which means Agni transforms incompatible entities into compatible ones as identified by the body. Agni is innumerable because of its presence in each and every entity of the human body. However, various treatises on Ayurveda have tried to enumerate these Agnis as a finite group. Charak has mentioned about 13 Agnis, 1 Jathar Agni, 5 Bhuta Agni, and 7 Dhatva Agni. According to Acharya Sushrut, 5 types of Agnis are illustrated: Pachak Agni, Ranjak Agni, Alochak Agni, Sadhak Agni, and Brajak Agni. However, there is an indirect reference of 5 Bhuta Agnis underlined in the brief description made to the transformation of food. Vagbhat has described additional 3 Dosha Agnis and 3 Mala Agnis, along with the 5 Agnis of Sushrut and 12 Agnis of Charak, except Chathar Agni, making a tally of 23 Agni. Sharangdhar has recognized Agni in form of 5 Pittas: Pachak, Brajak, Ranjak, Alochak, and Sadhak. Bhav Mishra has followed Acharya Charak and Vagbhat. Inferring from the above discussions from various types of Agnis and its correlation with Pitta, the 13 Agnis described by Charak can be accepted as all encompassing. Of the 13 Agnis, Jathar Agni is the main important Agni that controls the function of all other 12 Agnis. All the Agnis are totally dependent on the status of Jathar Agni. It performs digestion of food and is also responsible for separation of the food material into the essence portion or prasad bhaga and the waste products or kitta in our body. Chathar Agni is also classified into four categories according to its performance of digestion in the human being. A healthy state known as Sama Agni. Three stages where it is corrupted by doshas. When Vata corrupts Agni, it is known as Visham Agni. Pitta disruption leads to Tikshna Agni, and Kapha leads to Bandagni. Jathar Agni splits the food into simpler substances for the five Bhuta Agni later to digest their portion. Bhuta Agni is the one that is present in the basic element. There are five Agnis in each of the five basic elements: Parthiv, Apaha, Tejas, Vayu, and Akash. Acharya Charak has mentioned that the five Bhuta Agni digest their own part of the element present in the food materials. After the digestion of food by the Bhuta Agni, digested materials containing the elements and qualities similar to each Bhutas nourish their own specific Bhautik elements of the body. Dhatu Agni refers to the Agni present in each of seven Dhatus of Rasa, Rakta, Maus, Med, Asti, Majja, and Shukra. Acharya Charak mentions that the seven dhatus, which are a support of the body, contain their own Agni, and by their own Agni, they digest and transform the materials supplied to them to make the substances alike to them for assimilation and nourishment. Wagbard describes that when Agni, through Bhutagni medium, enters into the dhatus, it becomes Dhatwagni. Any discrepancy at any levels of these Agni is understood by various symptoms which are detailed through various treatises and their treatments are done accordingly. It may not be incorrect to state that the entire aim of Ayurveda is to keep this Agni healthy all the time. The treatment of Agni is understood through the concept of Agni Mandya, which would be covered in another video. I hope this video was informative and made the subject clear. Thank you for watching.